Max Stauffer, we're at Sydney Motorsport Park. So, what would be considered a home round for you? So, what's the feeling like coming in?
Yeah, great feeling. I'm excited. Unfortunately, I had a few injuries through the off season, and I wasn't able to test here. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But look, we're making the most of the weekend and the practice sessions, and so far we're moving well as a team up the ranks. So I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable on the bike, and I'm just excited to get in and start battling with the boys.
When you think back to Phillip Island, your first appearance, first start with YRT, did that weekend feel like it sort of came at you pretty quickly? It was almost like an arrival of sorts for you in the team, and probably started to feel like a sense of reality of where you're at?
Yeah, for sure. And just yeah, as you said, everything just happened so fast. Like injuries through the off season, and I wasn't able to ride much. And coming into a new team, new atmosphere. Although they're both Yamahas from last year to this year, they're just all set up different and different philosophies. So it's just a lot to adjust to straight away. But the team's done such a great job of welcoming me into the team and the atmosphere, and so far we're starting to make good progress this weekend.
When you consider Sydney Motorsport Park, there's a couple of things. Under lights and the 2-day schedule is one thing, but then the weather always seems to be a factor here. So is that tough mentally to kind of adapt to over the course of the weekend?
I don't really care. Whatever condition it is, it's the same for everyone else out there. So you've just got to go out there and ride to your limit and to your sort of comfort. So for me, I'm not worried. It is what it is. So you've just got to work through the weekend normally, and whatever comes at you and whatever's thrown at you, you just got to deal with it and get on with it.
JJ Nahlous, your second round of the 2025 season, and also your second appearance on the Superbike at the national level. So how are you feeling coming in?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, really comfortable. The team and I have been working really hard throughout, even just in between rounds. And I'm feeling really good on the bike, feeling really comfortable with the bike, and just looking to improve every session and hopefully keep moving forward up the ranks.
When you think of this weekend, the mixed conditions and different set of challenges, so how do you approach that?
Yeah, look, you can't really. You got to go with the flow. Whatever comes at you, you deal with it in the moment. So I mean, it's obviously tricky when it's like this, but it's all a lot of mental ability just to be able to change your mindset with whatever weather it is, and be able to adjust to that as well. So it's definitely difficult, but we push through it.
And tell us about the excitement of racing under lights. Obviously, ASBK has been back at Sydney Motorsport Park a few times now under the lights, but it doesn't get much better, much bigger than that.
Yeah, it's always a really cool environment, especially under lights. It's awesome to ride under lights. It's a cool experience. It's very focused on the track, and you don't see much else outside of the track like you usually do in the daylight. So it's very focused on the track and what you have to do. So I really like the experience.
Ant West, it's round 2 of the season. Obviously started so strong at Phillip Island, so a little bit different this time, being a 2-day event and a night race as well. So how are you feeling coming in?
Yeah, good. I think all the work the team been doing last year and in the off season paid off at Phillip Island. It was a good start to the season. Coming here though, it's always a bit different for me. I need more laps here. A lot of the other boys ride here a lot, and first session this morning, I was just a bit off. Second one we got back on pace. So we'll see. We've got a few more practices and qualifying to go, but the surface here is quite different to like Phillip Island or other tracks. It's so worn out, and it has like this weird kind of grip feeling. You can't lean the bike a lot, and I seem to hang off the bike and lean it a lot. So I have to ride the bike a little bit differently here, but I think we'll be okay for the race. So I just got to change my style a little bit and get into it.
You have a lot of experience, obviously, but world endurance experience as well. How different is it though under these sort of lighting conditions for a rider like yourself?
Here it's way brighter than when we do the endurance stuff. In the endurance stuff, they only put certain lights, like where we brake and certain parts of the track. And a lot of the parts is quite dark. And we have lights on the bike, which is supposed to give you light, but the lights sort of, when you're accelerating, one points up in the sky and then you brake and then they point down at the ground. They're never really in the right place. So the lights on the bike don't really work that well. And I always struggle in the night. Here it's really bright, but it still makes the judging distance different in the day. So I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old and my eyes don't work so good, but I do find it quite different. When you ride in the dry, it's real easy to find your marks and stuff. And at night, it just puts you off. The shadows are different. The track looks different when you ride it. But it's a good experience. The bikes look so cool. It's nice to ride at night. It's a bit cooler and it just the atmosphere is way better. It's cool.
Final one, you're known for your wet weather capabilities. Is that still a thing? Do you get excited when it rains? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I've sort of lost that edge. When it was 252 strokes, no electronics, Moto 2, no electronics, I could like be at the front and I felt comfortable. And then now all the bikes have gotten like wet setting, full traction control, wheelie control. Everybody now is quite fast in the wet. So that big advantage I had before is not quite there. So it's made it hard. But yeah, I wish we didn't have traction control, but that's the future. So yeah, that edge has gone away. So it's not so much about how smooth you are and how you ride the bike. Everyone has the same. They just turn the throttle on full and wait for the bike to get some traction and it all works for them in the wet. It makes it a bit better for the racing, a bit more closer. But people that have, like me, that were a bit special in the wet, you don't have that same advantage like you used to.
Broc Pearson coming into round 2 of the season and Sydney Motorsport Park under lights. It's always a good event. So what's the vibe like coming in?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty excited to go racing tomorrow. We've not had the best lead up into today's event. We haven't been able to get back to the circuit since we last raced here 12 months ago, and we're on a completely new electronics package. So today we're working through a lot, and hopefully we can make good steps each time out because we don't have many sessions. So we need to focus on just getting up at least the front 2 rows tonight because tomorrow looks wet, and if that's the case, it'll just reset and go again. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how tonight's qualifying and tomorrow's races play out.
How do you approach a 2-day weekend like this? More compact in some ways, but then again, day 1 is quite a long one.
It's just crucial for the changes we make because we don't have a huge amount of time in the sessions to make our changes, and then we've got less sessions to make them. So, usually we get a debrief each night and really sit on it where, we've got tonight and tomorrow we're racing. So, yeah, we just need to, not at the same time you can get it right every time, but I hope we can try and get the changes that we're making right because, yeah, the races tomorrow will come up really fast and we'll be heading home tomorrow night. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. If tomorrow rains, we'll have to completely change the bike again and be the first time we roll this Motec out in the rain too. But, yeah, luckily I know how to ride the conditions, so we should be fine.
As a rider, how do you kind of approach the mixed conditions? Do you prefer it to be, if it is going to have a bit of moisture, do you prefer it to be full wet or what's the go there?
I don't really mind. I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's been annoying, dry and wet conditions, just be dry or just be wet, that's definitely easier, but at the same time, we're all in the same conditions, so that's where it falls back to the team, trying to make the right call as well, and yeah, I think no matter what condition, we'll be okay. We've got a good race bike. We go the distance well on this new Motec package, but yeah, honestly speaking, tomorrow looks like it's going to be very wet, so we're just going to have to make a good call in warm-up to try and get the bike right and get on with it.
Josh Waters, round number 2 of the 2025 season. So the series obviously got off to such a good start for you, but how do you feel heading into this weekend? Mixed conditions, different format, and a night race as well.
Yeah, obviously round 1 was fantastic for me. It was a bit of a dream. So we now move into round 2 here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Always exciting, just over 2 days. A lot happens on day 1. The big thing though here is the weather forecast. It looks terrible. So been very fortunate. I didn't think we'd get any dry time in. Just finished practice. had 3 dry practice sessions, and now we wait for qualifying. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen.
What's your thoughts on these 2-day events in ASBK?
Yeah, I reckon they're really good, the 2-day events. Obviously, the one at Phillip Island was really good. Still, it's great to have the 3-day normal race meetings, but it's really good to mix it up. And I look forward to the one later in the year at Phillip Island.
Yeah, and when it comes into this weekend, under lights, a different atmosphere, and obviously it's a big event, this one. So does that mean it becomes one of the more important ones for you, just from a rider standpoint, or they all pay points?
Yeah, they all pay points. So it's awesome to race under the lights, in a city like Sydney. They normally have a great crowd here. Fingers crossed with the weather. No one likes standing in the rain, but yeah, it's great. But all the points are all the same, so every round's important.
Final one from me. Race strategy. If we go into, it always seems weather comes into play here, but race strategy, if it is mixed conditions, if the rain is coming, and obviously at night time as well.
Yeah.
Do you go into a bit of a management mode, or do you feel like it's a chance for a rider like yourself who's good in the wet to capitalise?
It's how you feel at the start of those races when the conditions are mixed. You need to be smart, and if you have the feeling, go with it. But if you don't, you need to be a little bit smart. So fingers crossed. If it is like that, I have that feeling, but. Yeah, the riding in the wet is different every time, so it's just. Yeah, fingers crossed I have a good feeling.
Tom Toparis going into Sydney Motorsport Park, the second round. So how would you kind of rate the start to your season so far, and what's the feeling like?
Yeah, obviously we have had a pretty tough start to the year. We've just been, every time we go do some testing, something happens and we don't get to do laps basically, and I think it's the same for all 3 of us boys so far this year. So it's not the start to my superbike career that I would have liked, but I think we're slowly getting there. Even today in the 3 sessions, I've gotten a lot quicker as the day's gone on. So yeah, can only just keep trying, and hopefully we get this thing figured out.
You're a multi-time Supersport champion, been overseas, that kind of thing. So is there a sense of excitement to finally be able to arrive and commit to the superbike class for you?
100%. Yeah, I wanted to race superbikes for years now. So I didn't want to be that old guy in 600s that's continuing to race around. Although I do love riding the 600 there, it's like natural, you know what I mean, to me. So I'm really glad to have had the opportunity with Stop and Seal to jump up on the superbike. And yeah, like I said, it's been tough, but after doing so many years on a 600, it was always going to be tough, I think. Even today, riding around, I've done a million laps on a 600 around this track, and I'm having to think really hard about how to change, your natural riding style. So it's a good place to come, though. I know my way around here. So looking forward to this next 2 days. Obviously, it looks like we're going to get a little bit wet tonight and tomorrow. So hopefully it all ends up all right.
Final one for this one. This would have to be, considered your home round. So
yeah,
what kind of expectations can you set coming into a weekend?
Yeah, well, there's here and obviously One Raceway, which is my actual home round. So yeah, it's good to have so many people from my family and stuff come up for this one. Expectation-wise, I don't know, coming off last race at the Island, we were obviously in the hurt box a little bit. So I kind of don't really know where to place myself. As long as we're moving forwards from where we were, can't expect to be, I don't think, at the front yet. But hopefully we can be, in the top 10, 10 to 7, somewhere there, racing around with the boys my age. That's the plan. So keep trying and see how we get on.